You don't need to stress about me trying to get revenge on Diddy. Everything that needed to be done has already been handled. I set up 3 safeguards that make it impossible for him to ever come after me or my family. First, I went directly to the legal teams representing the victims. The truth is, the reason he isn't walking free has a lot to do with cases that were quietly sitting in the background. For years, several victims stayed silent because they didn't have the resources to fight back. I stepped in and helped fund legal support for 7 of them, people who had been waiting a long time for their voices to be heard. On top of that, I made sure some of the best criminal attorneys in the country got involved so those cases would finally move forward. Second, I dealt with the money side of things. Long before his sentencing, he had plans lined up. Future deals, partnerships, business opportunities he expected to jump into once he was out. But I saw that coming. Nearly 2 years ago, I started quietly buying up and blocking every possible deal connected to him. By the time the verdict came down and he still believed there might be a chance at rebuilding his empire, every single partner had already backed away. The doors he planned to walk through were already closed. Third, this isn't just about having proof. What I uncovered goes much deeper. I didn't just collect evidence, I secured it, copied it, and stored it in multiple places. What's buried there is like a field full of landmines built up over 2 decades. Piece by piece, we uncovered stories and records stretching back nearly 30 years. Victims came forward with testimonies about manipulation, intimidation, and abuse. We spoke with more than a dozen people who said they were deceived, threatened, or taken advantage of. Some people might hear all that and think it sounds extreme. But look at what he's been accused of doing for years. Lives were damaged. Careers were destroyed. People were left dealing with the aftermath while he continued living like nothing happened. So no, this isn't about revenge. It's about making sure accountability finally catches up with him. If that means he ends up spending more time behind bars because the truth finally surfaced, then that's simply the result of his own actions. And as for fear, that's not part of the equation. I'm not worried about the people around him, and his threats don't mean anything to me. He might still be sitting there imagining some kind of comeback story, but the reality is very different. That chapter of his life is over, and there's no path back to what he once had.
Okay.
Is this real life? I feel crazy. The world is spinning around me. What's happening? You have 4 eyes. I have 2 fingers.
For a long time, the warning signs were easy to dismiss. Awkward moments were brushed aside with nervous laughter. Odd clips circulated online and were treated like harmless entertainment, while the deeper questions stayed buried. But now, with 50 Cent's documentary dragging old memories back into the spotlight, people are starting to look at the timeline differently. Conversations that were once whispers are finally getting louder. At the center of it all is Diddy, a powerful figure in the industry whose influence opened doors, or closed them depending on the situation. And then there's Justin Bieber, a young star with incredible talent who entered that world before he was old enough to fully understand the power dynamics around him. This story goes beyond viral clips or internet theories. It raises bigger questions about influence, loyalty, and the systems that allow uncomfortable truths to stay hidden. For years, moments that seemed strange were ignored because addressing them would have meant challenging someone with enormous control. Now, with fresh attention on the past, those overlooked details are being reconsidered. And what once seemed like isolated moments is beginning to look like part of a much larger story. One about power, silence, and how easily the truth can stay buried when too many people benefit from looking the other way.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you're in LA. Yeah, it's gonna be yours. So, every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, come get the front shot of this.
Man.
And that out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay?
Alright, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you tell me how you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15, you could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
Yeah.
Alright, 16.
You're not
16.
ready. Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Josh.
Okay.
Let's slow down,
one
okay?
step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
Signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you wanna do? What you wanna do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
Justin Bieber's early fame was often presented as the ultimate pop success story. A young talent discovered online, rising almost overnight to global stardom. Everything about the narrative looked polished and inspiring. But behind that bright spotlight was a more complicated reality. One that involved a teenager moving through powerful adult spaces long before he had the experience or protection to handle them. As his career exploded, old interviews and behind-the-scenes clips showed him constantly surrounded by influential figures and high-pressure environments. Access and opportunity seemed to take priority, while the boundaries that normally protect someone his age often felt blurred. At the time, these moments were rarely questioned. They were treated as just another part of celebrity life, something normal for the entertainment world. Looking back now, those situations appear in a different light.
You got people in the industry that's been saying for years, this man is having sex with underage. So now the federal government is looking at that like, yo, when is somebody gonna come forward? We got this information. It's alleged information. But nobody's willing to come forward. Then they go on and say, yo, Shakur Stewart mysteriously dead. Supposed to be a self-inflicted wound. Person that had everything going for him in their life. Kim Porter, dead. Somebody's car gets blown up. This guy is walking around threatening other actors, people. Somebody got to get involved in it. If it ain't the state, let it be the feds. Somebody got to stop him. He lucky that God given him the opportunity to be stopped while he's alive, then have to go to hell and face that shit. He got a chance to repent now. Change his life.
You mentioned minors, and a lot of people have been trying to drag Justin Bieber into this situation because there's a lot of suspect looking videos with Diddy and Bieber in it, and they're making a lot of.
What once passed as harmless industry culture is being reconsidered as part of a bigger problem. It wasn't about one awkward interview or a single uncomfortable clip. It was a pattern that many people saw but few challenged. The deeper issue is the environment itself. When a system becomes used to overlooking warning signs, those signs slowly stop feeling unusual. Over time, what should raise concern starts to look routine. And that leads to a difficult but necessary question. When youth is treated as a pathway to profit and influence, someone eventually pays the price. The real conversation now isn't about one moment from the past. It's about responsibility, and who should answer for the consequences when those safeguards fail. For a long time, 50 Cent made it clear he kept his distance from Sean Diddy Combs and the world around him. He often hinted that something about that environment didn't sit right with him, choosing not to get involved. Back then, most people brushed off his words as nothing more than personal grudges or the usual tension between powerful figures in the industry. But today, the situation looks very different. With legal pressure growing and public opinion beginning to shift, those old comments are being revisited in a completely new light. What once sounded like rivalry now feels more like a warning that many chose not to hear. That doesn't mean every statement suddenly becomes proven fact. However, it does change the way people interpret the intention behind those words. Sometimes alerts come long before there's official confirmation, and the meaning behind them only becomes clear with time. The reality is unsettling. Criticism is easy to dismiss when it comes from someone people have already decided not to trust. Once a person is labeled as biased or bitter, their message often gets ignored completely. And that leads to a bigger question worth thinking about. How many warning signs slip past everyone's attention simply because the person delivering the message doesn't fit the story people want to believe?
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also.
Got me a Lamborghini. And
Yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house. And he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Well, apparently not. Something. Everything ain't fair.
Tape is white.
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right, not at all. And somebody that more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, and he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all this shit is by surprise to me. A lot of this shit is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff. I knew Puff Daddy.
Diddy's reach in the music business went far beyond producing hits or running labels. He held a kind of influence that shaped who gained access to the most powerful spaces in the industry. The rooms where opportunities were created, reputations were built, and sometimes careers were quietly put on pause. Being welcomed into those circles could mean everything, while being shut out could slow someone's rise without explanation. Justin Bieber's connection to that environment wasn't some unusual case. In many ways, it reflected how the entertainment world often operates behind the scenes. Progress wasn't always about pure talent or open competition. Instead, it frequently depended on relationships with influential figures who controlled access to key opportunities. Within that system, advancement could be guided by private alliances, quiet agreements, and the kind of leverage that rarely becomes visible to the public. Rather than clear and transparent paths to success, the reality often involved navigating networks of power that determined who moved forward and who remained on the outside looking in.
I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit. And whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks is all right. Bruh, when does it comes all right to be sitting there eating food off a naked woman? When did we start doing what they do? Let's keep it a buck. When did we start doing what they do? These guys is popping pills. They got Jay-Z dancing with a chick that's...
The deeper concern isn't only about what may have taken place behind closed doors. The bigger question is why responsibility tends to disappear in an environment where success depends on staying close to powerful figures. When advancement is tied to access, boundaries can fade fast, and being cautious is often seen as hesitation rather than self-protection. Inside a structure like that, the pressure isn't quiet or accidental. It's built directly into the system. Influence, control, and unequal power shape the way decisions are made and who feels safe speaking up. People navigating that world often face expectations that go far beyond talent or hard work. The center of it all is the issue of power. It determines who can confidently refuse something and move on without consequences, and who risks losing everything the moment they try to push back. In a system where opportunities come from the top down, saying no can carry a cost that not everyone can afford to pay.
Might make you change your mind. Look at Lil Nas X. He fizzled out fast too.
So would you say someone like Justin Bieber's a victim? I just seen he is reportedly selling his whole catalog because he's broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And once he finishes getting that money, I don't understand why he's broke. He didn't have to be broke. Usher just wouldn't stop robbing him.
Damn.
I mean, Usher couldn't keep his hands out of his pocket. It's funny. He got him signed and turned over custody to Diddy. And boy was never the same, and neither was Usher's pockets, because Usher's been living off of Justin Bieber's money. He ain't been living off of his own. Because the truth is, Usher don't really make that kind of money. And I'm really just kind of sick and tired of Usher reigning.
Yeah,
I'm really kind of disgusted with Usher reigning, who does Greek wrestling nude with men over frosted flakes, allegedly. Like, I'm sick and tired of this guy who everyone knows got the Diddy bumps, who's been sued for passing them on and lost, is still sitting there disgracing women in front of their men who bought the tickets to like that whole scheme.
He's causing a lot of divorce courts.
But why? He don't even want them. He don't want them women. He's literally doing it just to destroy relationships.
Long before Justin Bieber rose to global superstardom, Usher had already spoken about his own experience stepping into Diddy's orbit at a very young age. As he grew older, he reflected on that time and admitted he had been exposed to pressures and situations meant for adults far earlier than he should have. That history matters, not as gossip but as context. It suggests a pattern rather than a random story. When similar themes appear across different periods in the industry, the idea of coincidence starts to fade. Instead, it begins to look like a cycle, where influence and authority move from one generation to the next without meaningful change. The structure stays in place, even when the concerns around it have already been voiced. Acknowledging discomfort is one thing. Fixing the environment that caused it is something entirely different. And when recognition happens without real action, it becomes a failure in itself. So if the warning signs were visible years earlier and nothing fundamentally changed, one question becomes impossible to ignore. Why was the system still standing when the next young star was led down the exact same path? As the spotlight on Diddy grew sharper, a noticeable shift happened around him. Many people who once stood close or publicly supportive suddenly chose to stay quiet. At the same time, 50 Cent became even more vocal, pushing his criticisms louder than before and bringing attention to a reality the industry rarely admits out loud. In spaces like that, speaking against the dominant narrative can carry serious consequences. Relationships, partnerships, and future opportunities can all be put at risk. Remaining silent, on the other hand, often protects those connections. Over time, loyalty and self-preservation start to look almost identical. This reaction isn't always about fear or chaos. More often, it's a deliberate decision to hold back. In a business where careers depend on networks and influence, telling the truth can clash directly with the need to stay professionally secure. And when silence becomes the safest move for so many people, one difficult question refuses to go away. Can real accountability exist inside a system that seems designed to avoid it?
I watched a video of an interview of Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, he was broke, almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billy. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters.
Real life. Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real. Real life street star. You know what time it is.
Jermaine Dupri said something interesting. He said the reason that R&B isn't as powerful as it is anymore is because children are going to church.
Yeah.
What is it about the transfer from the spiritual to the secular that do you believe that's what made R&B so powerful?
Understand this. Rhythm and blues was a combination of gospel and soul music. Because soul music has always been around in one form or another. It's just evolved throughout the years. And you got gospel, rhythm and blues. That's what put that together. That's why they made such a big stink about the Ray Charles incorporating gospel sounds into secular music. Because they wanted people to separate the two. This is demon, this is good. The truth is none of that's real. There is no bad, there is no good. There is what is and there is what is not. And that's sad. But when you take the spirit that comes from that.
Reality sinks in. It's hard to accept that what aired was the full picture.
However, his later openness about anxiety, emotional exhaustion, and periods of personal instability adds an important layer to a much more complex story. Over the years, he has spoken honestly about the intense pressure he faced while still very young, navigating enormous fame while surrounded by adults whose priorities didn't always align. He described feeling overwhelmed by the weight of success before he had the experience or support systems needed to handle it. Growing up in that environment meant trying to manage global attention, expectations, and business decisions long before he had the tools to safeguard his own mental health. Those reflections don't offer easy conclusions or direct accusations. What they do is challenge the simplistic way these stories are often told. They reveal the deeper consequences of rising to fame too quickly inside an industry where protecting a young artist was not always treated as the most urgent responsibility.
That just testified against Diddy to the grand jury and had to give up 8 videotapes to the feds that contained celebrities in these freak-offs with Diddy is now listing some of the names that he saw on these tapes. And this man said that he got these tapes from a very close friend of Kim Porter's, and these were Kim Porter's tapes that she was going to use against Diddy, and some of the names that he says are some that we have heard rumored over the years. He said he saw Justin Bieber on this tape and he appeared to be underage during this time. He also saw Usher on these tapes and Usher definitely appeared to be underage. And this one gave me the chills because we've heard that Usher is the one that sent Justin Bieber to Diddy. Courtney Burgess sat down with the Too Strong channel here on YouTube and started naming some of the celebrities that he saw on these tapes.
Were kids involved in these parties that you can verify from looking at the tapes?
If Justin Bieber was older than he's supposed to have been, yes. If Usher was older, well, Usher was definitely young.
Okay.
You understand? His shoulder part was, the blood was all in his bed. You understand? It looked like they came home from a event, a party or something.
Went on to explain how Danny Boy was also in one of these videos with Mary J. Blige and Diddy together. And Danny Boy admitted when he was 15 that Mary J. Blige flew him out to New York and he slept with her while he was underage.
The focus here isn't about declaring legal judgments. It's about recognizing the human impact that can unfold beneath the surface. Not every form of harm shows up through official accusations or clearly defined incidents. Sometimes it appears much later, through lingering stress, emotional imbalance, or struggles that were never fully explained or understood at the time. In environments where pressure, fame, and exposure are built into the system from the start, the effects can build quietly over time. The damage doesn't always come from a single dramatic moment. Instead, it can grow slowly, shaped by years of intensity and expectations that no one was prepared to handle. That reality leads to a difficult but necessary question. If the root of the issue lies within the structure itself rather than one isolated event, why do we often wait for a specific accusation before acknowledging that something within the system clearly went wrong?
Mary J.
Danny Boy,
okay.
You know what Danny Boy is?
I heard that before. I don't, I've been so far away from hip hop, I forgot, but I have heard that name, Danny Boy.
Danny Boy, back then, he looked like he was about 16. They both was about.
He also claimed that Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, were in these videos, and he also said that there was photographs and videos of Diddy eating off of young girls.
Pictures or images of any of this stuff?
Yeah, I got Justin Bieber, Will Smith's son, whatever his name is. Other females on the table, they was young. They was eating off them. A lot of entertainments. And then I got calls from certain one to get the tape out of my hand. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about.
And I had said that if this man testified to the grand jury, the feds had to have some reason to bring him in to actually testify against Diddy. But y'all let me know what you guys think about this man naming all of the people on the Diddy tape.
When Diddy's situation reached a federal courtroom, the discussion shifted dramatically. What had once circulated as speculation was now placed under formal scrutiny, guided by legal filings, courtroom procedure, and evidence that could be examined and verified. The process set clear limits on what could be claimed publicly, even as it brought attention to deeper concerns that the legal system isn't always designed to solve. Courts exist to judge actions under the law, not to evaluate the culture surrounding them. That distinction leaves a wide space where broader industry problems can remain largely untouched. The legal process may determine responsibility in a specific case, but it rarely addresses the environment that allowed those issues to develop in the first place. One reality stands out from that contrast. What is considered lawful isn't always the same as what is ethical. And even when a case reaches its procedural conclusion, the impact of what happened doesn't automatically disappear. So when the paperwork is finalized and the courtroom chapter closes, a larger question still remains. Does accountability end with a legal verdict? Or is that the moment when the deeper reckoning truly begins?
Do you think he has a mole or an informant in his camp that's cooperating?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Listen, bro. Just doing law enforcement myself, just take for instance. I think the individual was a Syracuse former basketball player named Jason Barnes or Beard or something like that. He already had drug charges against him. The day Diddy house get raided, they catch him getting on a plane and they put him into custody. Didn't that sound a little weird? People didn't catch that. They either put him in custody for a couple of reasons. You understand? One, to make a witness out of him, or to safeguard him and protect him for anything that could happen to him, because they had already stated, allegedly, that he was some kind of mule for the people over there at Diddy's house. So now, with that information, that he was already known by the government for drug charges, wouldn't that be an individual that you use? I'm gonna give you something different. And I'm gonna give you something else that people don't even think. On the other day, I seen on the video that Puff had ran into Justin Bieber. They met up and he started tapping him as if he was searching him and see if he had some kind of device on. Did you see that?
Yep.
Check this out. What if the federal government have already talked to Justin Bieber? And Diddy did that on tape. That means in his mind, he think this person may be a witness, right?
The connection between 50 Cent, Diddy, and Justin Bieber points to a larger reality about celebrity-driven industries. In these environments, influence tends to gather at the top, while pressure and vulnerability often settle on those with the least power. Responsibility, when it appears at all, usually arrives much later than it should. Within that structure, youth is often packaged as raw authenticity, closeness to powerful figures is presented as mentorship, and staying quiet is framed as professionalism. Over time, these ideas reshape what people consider normal. Imbalances that might once have raised concerns slowly become accepted as just part of the system. This isn't a story built around one villain or a single moment. Instead, it reflects a set of repeating conditions, an environment that repeatedly creates the same kinds of consequences for the people moving through it. And when a framework produces the same outcomes again and again, a difficult question begins to demand attention. At what point does the system stop being treated as background context and start becoming the very thing that needs to be examined?